I'm not sure what it is, but something is a bit different today. So as you can see, there is something a bit different on my channel today. That is because I'm doing a birthday request video for Tiffanie from Loveless Degrees. Tiffanie has been a massive supporter of my channel and she's been a really good friend. She is a really friendly and nice person, and I like her channel so much. And because she was a massive supporter of my channel and continues to actually be so, I asked her to tell me one book that she wanted me to actually read and talk about on my channel. And this could be anything. I left it up to Tiffanie to decide about what she wanted me to talk about. And the book that she chose for me to read and review on my channel was The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I had never heard of this book, but the moment she asked me to review it on my channel, I bought it immediately on my Kindle without even knowing a thing about it. I didn't even read the synopsis, I just bought it. But before I read it, I watched one review that was really vague on YouTube about it, and that was the only thing I knew about it. So going into this book, I pretty much knew nothing about it apart from the very basic storyline. So let's talk about Tiffanie for a bit. Tiffanie is one of the few booktubers that I know of that is incredibly interested in books. And if you think about any author, just think about any author right now, and chances are there's a high possibility that she has actually met them in person. And she's also very knowledgeable about books in general. And yeah, she's just a really nice person, and I like to watch all her videos. As you can probably imagine, I will put a link down in the description to her channel, so please check her out. Go over there, subscribe to her channel, watch her videos, and wish her a happy birthday. I know that this video is going to be uploaded on a day that's not one of my usual scheduling days, but I wasn't planning to review this book on her birthday. It's just that she said, oh, my birthday is on the 7th of March, would you mind uploading it on that date? And I said no, I wouldn't mind, so that's why I'm uploading this video on a Sunday. And Tiffanie, I hope that you have got everything that you wanted for on your birthday, or that you asked for. I'm sure if that you have got numerous books for your birthday, I'm sure that you will do a video on it, and I cannot wait to watch that. And I hope that you have a fantastic day for your birthday. So without further ado guys, let's get into this video. It might be a long video, but it's a birthday request video, so yeah, let's see how it goes. Hi guys, my name is David and welcome back to my channel. So today, as a special birthday request video, I am going to be reviewing The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. And as my introduction said, I'm doing this as a request from Tiffanie from Loveless Degrees. This is a kind of a thank you video from me to her, for her. I mean, just to say thank you to her for supporting my channel. And I mean, there was actually one day that she actually rewatched about 10 videos of mine and commented on 10 videos of mine in one day, and that was insane. So this video is just for you, Tiffanie, and I hope that you enjoy. So I have got to give a shout out as well to Ariel from Reading and Whatnot, as she was a massive part of me reading this book as well, because we are talking on Messenger or on Facebook or whatever you want to call it. And when I was reading this book for the first time, because this is a 500-page book, so when I was reading it for the first time, I was messaging her and we were talking and discussing the book in general, because this is one of her favourite books, if not her favourite book of all time. So I was discussing about it and we were talking about what was happening and what happened to who and characters in general. And this is a book that you have to pay attention to, because if you aren't paying attention to a specific character or a specific event, then later along the line it will be mentioned again or brought up again, and if you aren't paying attention, then you won't get it. And that's what happened to me. I was 300 pages in, and I wasn't getting so many references or things in this book. So we both decided that we were going to be doing a buddy read, which I was calling a soft buddy read. She's read this numerous times, and she probably knows it back to front and inside out and upside down and side to side and all that type of stuff. So she knew exactly what was going to happen in this book even before she even read it again. So being 300 pages in, I had to go back to page 1, but then 300 pages that I reread, I understood a bit better, and I enjoyed a bit more than I did the first time. But it was incredibly frustrating that I had to reread 300 pages again, because I was planning to finish this in February, and that was kind of irritating that I had to do that. But I finished the book yesterday, I believe, and but we were talking back and forth about it. Some things I didn't understand, some things I did, but overall it made the experience a bit better than reading it by myself. So as I'm doing with Tiffanie, I will have a link down below to Ariel's channel, rereading and whatnot, so please check her out as well. So as I always say in all my videos, this is going to be a spoiler-free video, and this is going to be my own thoughts and feelings regarding this book. I knew going into this novel that they were two different types of people that, or there was two camps for this novel. There was one camp where people were like, what the hell have I just read? This book is rubbish, and this is the most terrible thing that I've ever read. This book is absolute trash. And then the other camp is, oh my god, this book is amazing, it's my favourite book of all time, and it's amazing, and it's untouchable, and it's really, really amazing. I personally am not in one of these two camps. I am in the middle, as I think that this book is simply okay, but I'll explain myself as this video goes on. But I'm kind of like firmly stuck in between these two camps. But as I will explain in my video, hopefully you understand why. But just to echo what I said, this is going to be a spoiler-free video, and this is going to be my own thoughts and feelings regarding this book. If this is your favourite book of all time, that is great. I don't want to take that away from you, and no one should, but this is what my experience with this novel was. And also, the first time I read this, I thought it was a YA fantasy novel. But as I did some digging, and I watched a couple of reviews from Erin Morgenstern on YouTube, I discovered that this is just a fantasy novel. It's not an epic fantasy or a high fantasy, but it's kind of in the middle between an epic fantasy or a high fantasy and a YA novel. But it's one of these books that can be picked up by teenagers or adults, and they could equally enjoy it or find some enjoyment from it. So this story opens up by introducing us to our main character called Zachary, who is a university student, and one day he is in his local library and he comes across a book on the shelves which seems to be older than he is, and within this book it contains numerous stories, and one of these stories retells a event from Zachary's childhood. This takes him aback because this book seems to be older than he is, and it doesn't have an author. It just has the stories in it, and it's very mysterious, and he doesn't know how a book that is older than he is could recount an event from his childhood when he wasn't even born, if that makes sense at all. This book is very mysterious in itself, and very the structure is kind of I won't say weird or strange, but Zachary's our main character. He's our main focal point and main storyline within this book, and his story is the one that we are following. But it focuses on one chapter of Zachary, then it focuses on a chapter from a fairy tale within a book in this world, which I'll explain in a minute. And then Zachary, then a fairy tale, then Zachary, and so on and so forth. Or it may focus around like Zachary, then another character within this book, and Zachary, then another character, and so on and so forth. So it goes back and forth. These fairy tales are some of the actual stories within Sweet Sorrows and other books that he comes across within this storyline. It's kind of like a story within a story type of thing. Think about the Never-Ending Story with Bastian when he's reading the book, and it's more or less the same thing. These fairy tales are like stories from real life people and real life events, and they are like really interesting. They were one of my favourite parts within this book itself. It was one with a keymaker, a sculptor, a mysterious owl king that has a body of a man and head of an owl, and these were one of my favourite parts of the book. So anyway, Zachary is trying to figure out where this strange book, Sweet Sorrows, has actually come from. And when he does digging, he comes across a couple of characters called Dorian and Maribel, who and then after that he's suddenly thrust into a mysterious world called the Starless Sea, which is a mysterious world or dimension that is under the surface of the planet Earth. And the reason why it's called the Starless Sea is because the Starless Sea, as far as I'm aware, is just an ocean, but because it's underground, there are no stars in the sky. And within this sea, there are things that are called harbours, which are what you are probably thinking of. They're like cities and towns on the shore of the Starless Sea, and these contain numerous books. There is a massive library, sort of. But these books aren't like books that we find in our everyday libraries. These books contain stories about real life people, as far as I'm aware. And the Starless Sea is accessible to numerous people throughout Earth, and they can find doors, whether it's real life doors, such as doors that are in your house. Doors that you find at work, doors anywhere, doors to abandoned buildings, any door or trapdoor or anything that you can physically open and walk through, that can potentially be a doorway into the Starless Sea. And it can be a door from an abandoned building, or it could be a door painted on a wall, because let me explain this story in Sweet Sorrows. When Zachary was a small boy, he came across he was walking behind his mother's shop. His mother is a fortune teller, and he's walking behind his mother's shop down an alleyway, and he sees a door painted onto a wall, and he is immediately drawn to it. He wants to open it. He's like really tempted just to open it and walk through. And but he doesn't. He doesn't open it, and he just goes off and does his own thing in life. And this is what the book actually focuses on, and what Erin says in numerous interviews. It's like, what if Alice didn't go down the rabbit hole? What if Alice didn't follow the white rabbit and go down the rabbit hole? And what if she just said no and walked away? That is what this book focuses on. But numerous years have passed, and Zachary comes across, he's actually introduced to the Starless Sea. And numerous people go through doors, and they go into the Starless Sea, and they can read and write stories and storytelling and all that, and perform stories, and like theatre shows and all that type of stuff. But some people are chosen to protect this dimension of the Starless Sea. And there are three paths or choices that you can make in order to do this. One of them is option where you can actually be a writer and actually write the actual physically write the stories in these books. And these people have their tongues cut out, and they have a mysterious bee tattooed on, or actually branded onto their body. There is guardians, which, as far as I'm aware, are the protectors of the Starless Sea. They're more like the warriors, sort of, even though they don't do any fighting. They have a kind of a sword necklace tattooed on their body or their chest. And there is another one called the Keepers, who have a key there as well. Because when Zachary finds the copy of the Sweet Sorrows, it has a bee, a key, and a sword on it. And they are the kind of the clues. He doesn't know what is going on with that. And this book is, I won't say confusing, but or strange or anything like that. But it's one that you have to pay attention to, because a character like the Owl King, for example, is mentioned in a fairy tale, but he's also mentioned in another fairy tale later on, and he's constantly being brought up. So you have to remember him. There are characters which have been given different names by people. Like Maribel is actually called Max by Zachary because of a costume he sees her wear at a party. And later on, because you've got to remember that, because when the name Max is actually referred to later on, you're thinking, who's Max? Was there a character I missed out? Or and also Zachary is actually mentioning numerous of these fairy tales in his storylines, so you have to pay attention. It isn't complicated to understand. In a way it is, but I'll explain that more in my likes and dislikes section of this book. But yeah, that's the main storyline. You have a enemy or a villain trying to protect the Starless Sea, but she does it in such a violent or aggressive. She does it in a more of an aggressive way. But she is the villain. But you can kind of see her point of view. This is kind of like I actually found out from, I actually watched a video on YouTube, and someone said that Erin was actually writing, Erin was writing out all these stories separately when she was writing the story, and she was trying to connect them all together and trying to make them all fit. The ending of the story is really good as well. When I was finishing up the book, everything, all the characters' side plots were, all the characters' plots were trying to be tied up together, and it was a kind of a satisfying ending to the book. Did I understand it completely when it ended? No, there were some things that I actually didn't understand completely, but yeah, this book was interesting, I'll say that. So that's the best I can do to describe the story of the Starless Sea. Sorry if it's been a bit cryptic or mysterious, but that is what this book is to me. It's very weird. It feels like a dream. You know when you wake up and you have like a really weird dream, and then you go to bed the next night and then you have another weird dream, and try to put them together, even though they may not actually be related, and that's what the book actually feels like. It's very surreal. It feels like very Alice in Wonderland. It does mention other numerous books and video games and movies. It mentions Alice in Wonderland. It mentions Narnia. It mentions Sherlock Holmes. It mentions probably like a bunch of other stuff that I can't actually remember. It mentions Harry Potter. You don't have to read any of these novels or watch any of these movies in order to understand any of these references at all. But yeah, I did do my best with this book. I know that Erin has another novel called The Night Circus, which I know is her first novel, which I can't wait to read. But for the Starless Sea, it was an experience, I'll say that. So for the stuff that I liked in this book, the biggest compliment I can give this book is that it is a love letter to anyone that's a reader or a writer or a storyteller or likes stories in general. This is simply a love letter to anyone that likes to read. The writing, even though it does have its negatives, which I'll mention in a minute, it is very, it's actually written in a very whimsical, dreamlike, like airy fairy way. When you're reading it, you are like, okay, this is great, it's written beautifully, but can you please get to the point? I like the majority of the way that this book was written. I like the author of Erin. She does seem to have, like me, she has numerous thoughts in her mind, which you can tell in her manner and in her eye and in her body language that she has loads of stuff in her mind, and it's pulling her thoughts in different directions, and she finds it hard to try to focus on one specific point and focus on that one point. If that makes sense at all. And in that way, I kind of have a kind of a kinship with her. I understand her, and the way she talks is a very, not very, I wouldn't say articulate way. Probably interesting is probably the best word that I can describe it. She's really interesting to watch and listen to. If I can remember, I will link down below some links to some video clips, short ones that you can go to, and it'll take you and you can listen to what she has to say. Also, I liked some of the characters in this book, not the main characters, but one of the characters I liked in this book the best is Kat, which she's mentioned at the start of the book, and then throughout the majority of the book she's not there, but she turns up at the end. I like Kat, she's cool. She's irritating, but I like her. And as I said, I like the fairy tales. They were my favourite part of the book, and I really enjoyed them. So the things I disliked about this book is I didn't really care too much about Zachary that much. He is fine, he is okay as a character, but I didn't really have a connection with him. He was fine reading, don't get me wrong, but there wasn't a connection with him. It didn't make me care for him. I didn't really mind if he died or lived or if anything bad happened to him, but it was just simply okay. And so were these other characters as well. One of the main things that actually took me out of this book is that when you're reading a part of Zachary's section and you're really getting into that part, and you're getting comfortable with that section and reading Zachary's storyline, and then it just picks you up and plops you into a fairy tale or another chapter focusing around another character, and you're thinking, I've only just gotten comfortable reading Zachary's part, and you just picked me up and plopped me in a different section, and now I've got to focus on that part and like get used to reading that part, if I'm making sense at all. And then when you get comfortable reading that section, it picks you up and plops you back into Zachary's section, and it never gives you a chance to actually, well, I mean, for me, it never gave me a chance to actually breathe, and it didn't really give me a chance to actually get to know Zachary or any of the characters, because all these chapters are really short. But with all that said, it doesn't mean that I disliked the book, but it was just a different structure for me. It was just a bit off-putting to me, really, to be honest. When I said and I mean also the writing style, it's as I said, it's very airy-fairy and whimsical and all that type of stuff. And I like to get to the points of the book when I'm reading. It struggled for me to get to the points. Even though I'm saying, okay, this is actually great, I'm enjoying it, but can you please get to the point of the story and have it move on? There were loads of, because of the writing style as well, and the way it was written, or parts of it was, I had trouble focusing on different parts of it. There were parts of it which I had trouble visualizing in my mind, like when one of the characters is falling into a sea of honey and he survives it, and I'm thinking, well, if you fell into a like a like a sea of honey, it would be so thick you would drown. So how did he survive? I know it's fantasy, and you're probably saying, "Oh, David, it's fantasy. You're supposed to suspend your disbelief," but he wasn't even hurt. And also, there are parts of this book where certain concepts are characters within themselves, or real life characters. So, for example, like hate and love, for example. They are concepts. Gravity can be another one. Gravity, that is a concept to me, but in this book, gravity, I'm not saying that gravity is, but gravity, for an example, can be a real life person in this book. Just an example. And that kind of took me back, because I'm thinking, well, how can these concepts be actual real life people? And as you're probably saying to the camera, David, it's a fantasy, you're supposed to suspend your disbelief. But I'm thinking, no, it was just a bit far-fetched. It really was. I also heard in an interview by Erin that she likes bees, and that while she was writing this book, she had an interest in bees and in cats, because cats are always in this book, and she wanted to write that into the book because she simply liked bees and cats, so she wanted to have them integrated into the story somewhere. Not saying that they weren't appreciated, but yeah, this book has a lot to unfold. So I'm going to rate the Starless Sea a 3 stars out of 5. This was a slightly above average book for me. I would personally recommend that you do this as a buddy read with someone else, or with a group of people, because they may get something or understand something, and you don't, or they may pick up something that you don't understand, and it might be a better experience for you. Because if I read this by myself, and to be honest, if I wasn't doing this as part of a request video, I would have DNF'd this book about halfway through. But it isn't as terrible as people are making it out to believe. It isn't a fantastic book, but for what it was and for the experience it gave me, it was there were parts of it that I enjoyed, but overall it was just a slightly above average read. So in conclusion, if you have never read anything by Erin before, I would possibly start off with The Night Circus, but I think that that book is kind of less cryptic. This book is very weird going into it. Maybe watch some video reviews on it, and maybe watch some interviews about Erin. As I said, I will link some down below. When you're, if you look at other videos about it on YouTube, you'll come across, as I said, there'll be, looking at people's thumbnails, you automatically will see that people will either love this book or will hate this book. For you personally, I would recommend that you just give it a try. Buy it on your Kindle, buy it as a physical copy, or whatever you want to do. Listen to an audio or whatever, and make up your own mind. Is it going to be the best thing that you will ever read? I don't know. It all depends on what you like to read. If you like to read like mystical stuff and airy fairy writing and all dream sequences and all that type of stuff, it isn't a dream sequence, but I'm just doing it as a kind of a example. Then give this book a try. If you like epic fantasy, if you like ones that have got like massive battles in it, this book doesn't have any battles in it, but if you like stuff that is like Brandon Sanderson, or books that have got loads of fights in it, then you'll be disappointed in this book, because that is not what this book is. Long and short of it is that make up your own mind if you want to read this book. I would once again I would highly recommend that you talk about it with someone or do it as a buddy read, as a form of a buddy read. But yeah, stick with it, pay attention to it, because if you don't pay attention, then you will miss something out. Something will happen in the later on in the book, and it will bring that character up or that event up. And if you aren't paying attention, then you'll be like, I have no idea what's happening. So you'll be even more lost if you don't pay attention. But once again, give it a try and make up your own mind. So that's it, guys. That is my review on The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. Hopefully this has been useful to you in some shape or form. I've tried to explain myself as best as I can, but this is one of these books that it's very hard to explain it to someone if you haven't read it before. If you have read it, then it'll be a bit more easier to explain, but to explain it to someone that is very new to this book is extremely hard to do. But hopefully I've done my best with it. I've tried. And also I hope that you, Tiffany, that you've enjoyed this video. This has been this is my birthday present from me to you. Once again, I hope that you've had a great day on your birthday, and that you've got everything that you wanted for your birthday. And I'm sure if you had loads of books, that you'll do a video on it. If you haven't watched Tiffany's video before, as I said, there will be a link down below. It will be the first thing that you see in the description. Please go over there, subscribe to her, wish her a happy birthday. Tiffany is such a great person. She really is. She's really, really friendly, and I enjoy watching her content, even though the stuff that she reads and the stuff that I read kind of differ a little bit. For example, I can't see Tiffany ever picking up a Stephen King book or a Clive Barker novel, but I enjoy her content immensely. So please go over there and check out her video. She's awesome. So if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like, comment down below, let me know, have you read The Starless Sea? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Or are you like me? Are you in the middle camp where you simply thought that it was okay? Let's just talk about it down below, guys. I do ask that if you strongly dislike this book, try to be respectful down below. You can say that you disliked it, as we all have our different opinions, but try to be respectful down in the comments, because people may really like this book. So try to remember that, guys. But yeah, let's have a discussion about it down below. I will probably read this book at some point again during my life, but I am excited to read The Night Circus, which I have already on my Kindle, so I'm excited for that. But anyway, if you've enjoyed this video as a whole, please consider subscribing to my channel, as it helps out so much. If you do subscribe, please click on the bell so it reminds you about whenever I upload videos, which are every Monday and Friday. I'm sorry if this video has been a bit long, but once again, because it was a special birthday request video for Tiffany, I didn't really care about what the length was. So hopefully it hasn't been an hour long or something ridiculous like that, because I have to edit this, and if it's that length, then it'll be a pain in the ass to do. I will also put a link down below to my Goodreads account in case anyone wants to follow me on Goodreads or message me or find out what I'm reading. I will have a link down below to my Goodreads account, so it'll take you right to my page. So yeah, with all that said, have a great day, read some awesome books, and I will see you all in my next video. And once again, happy birthday to Tiffany from Loveless Degrees. I hope that you had a great day.